I'm Amy Quinn from APTV, and I'd like to introduce you to the valedictorian of the Asbury Park High School for 2015, Carl Cazeau. Carl, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Cazeau, obviously, and I'm from Haiti. I came here 5 years ago, and after the earthquake, it was 2010. The earthquake was in January 10th, and I came here on June 25th. So there's a story behind it. I was supposed to come here before June, so the earthquake came, and our process was postponed until June. So I came here on June 25th, 2010, and without knowing anything about the language of the United States. So what I did is that my father, back in Haiti, we weren't really accustomed to having a computer. So he went to a store, he bought us a computer, and I was really happy because that was my first time getting a computer. So what I did, I woke up in the morning from 6 o'clock all the way till night. I wasn't really sure what time it was, but it was already night. And what I was doing is that I was watching anime in English. Anime is a type of cartoons. So during that period of time, I was watching the anime. I didn't really understand what they were saying, but because I was familiar with the settings, I was able to actually understand what was going on until later on I could really understand that language. And after 2 months, I went to school, and my language started catching on little by little.
Wow, that's fantastic, Carl. Can you describe, just for those of us that don't know, what a valedictorian is and how you become one?
A valedictorian is actually the top person of the class based on their GPA, which is their grade point average. So how they become a valedictorian is that in a school, let's say they have 100 freshmen coming up from middle school. They all have the same percentage. They all have the same chance of being the valedictorian. They all have the same chance. So it'll depend from day one all the way to the last day of whom will become the valedictorian. The kid who works the hardest, the kid who have the best grades in all the classes will actually become the valedictorian.
Oh, wow. Okay. And when do you start to realize that you have an opportunity to be the valedictorian? Is that something early on, or when you started the Asbury Park High School, were you striving to be the valedictorian?
At first, I was really trying to do my best, trying to do my hardest at everything I tried. And my freshman year, I didn't really know if I was gonna be the valedictorian because I was ranked fourth. And the gentleman, whose name is Tyrone Harmon, who was supposed to be the valedictorian, he had a 4.0 GPA his freshman year, and he was first. Then I was all the way to fourth place with a 3.75. So what I did is that I went to my guidance counselor, Mr. Hackett, and I asked him about my GPA. And I didn't really know what the GPA was until the pastor of my church, Pastor Sonny Augustine, actually went through everything that I need to be the top of my class. So the day after we talked, I went to the guidance office. I went to my counselor, and he actually showed me my GPA, and that's when I knew that I had the 3.75 GPA my freshman year. And then what I did is that my sophomore year, I took all honor classes. The honor classes, they're heavier on your GPA
Hmm.
more than the regular classes. Excuse me. They rate they have a highest weight on your GPA. So my sophomore year, I had most of my classes were honor classes. Sorry, most of my classes were honor classes, and after that, my GPA was a 4.0 my sophomore year. So at the end of my sophomore year, I went back to the guidance office. What I did is that I didn't know that you could actually use. I didn't know if
Sorry.
you. It's alright. I didn't know if you actually could use a sport that you played in the high school as a gym class. So what I did was pretty clever. Is that I went to my guidance office, and because I needed some classes in order to graduate, those were requirement classes. So I took AP courses my junior year, which were AP Biology and AP History. And there's a story behind why I took AP biology is because I had a biology teacher who was actually a science teacher of mine. So she's the one who motivated me to getting into the AP biology, and her name is Miss Bedward.
Okay.
So she was my teacher for 2 years. So she's the one who actually motivated me to take my AP classes. So the AP is above the honor classes, and they're weighted heavier on your GPA more than any other classes. So that's when, in addition to the classes that I took online for my requirements, that's when I switch out from gym and use soccer as gym.
Huh.
So those classes were added on to my GPA. So my GPA my junior year was 4.2. So the combination of those two GPAs, or those three GPAs, actually that's when my GPA became a 4.0 total. And by then I didn't really know if I was gonna be the valedictorian until my junior year, because the gentleman, he also had a 4.0 his sophomore year. So he switched out of school. So that's when I actually knew that I was gonna become the valedictorian. And unfortunately, uh, I became the valedictorian, but during our beginning of our senior year, he came back, and that's when the problem came: who was gonna be the valedictorian? Was it gonna be him or me? Because when he switched out, he also took AP classes, but he took more than me, so his GPA was probably 4.1. I don't know how high his GPA was, but right now mine's a 4.06 based on my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. So then, probably a week ago, I learned that you have to be in school for the entire 4 years or 3 years. But since he switched out, I was the one nominated as the valedictorian.
Oh, wow. And how did they tell you you were the valedictorian?
Uh, how did it tell me? Because the valedictorian have to make a speech, so they told me that I was the one to make the speech because I was here for 4 years. So that's when I knew I was becoming the valedictorian.
And where and when do you make that speech?
The day of graduation,
Okay.
and where you actually graduating during graduation, that's when you make your speech.
And what would you say were your biggest challenges in school?
The biggest challenge was taking those AP classes, and for me to only have 4 years in the country and actually taking courses where the English is really at a different level than the ones that you used to take. So this was really a challenge for me, because once you learn something in a different language, it'll be really difficult for you to catch on to this. Even though you already learn it, it'll be really difficult for you to catch on to another language and see how you will recognize those same processes.
And are you involved in any other extracurricular activities besides soccer?
Yes,
Can you tell us about them?
yes. Freshman year, I was in track and field, outdoor track and field. I ran the 400 hurdles and the 400. And then I played in the marching band and jazz band during football. Also, that's football is actually also during soccer season. So I had to see how I will be able to play both soccer and marching band. And after that, I played jazz band, and I was in the a club called what was it called? Club? It was called, I can't remember the name of the club.
That's okay.
Interact Club. That's
Okay.
that's what it was called. Interact Club. So I entered Interact Club. So that's when I heard about community services,
Hmm.
and we did a lot of services in the school. We went to the elementaries. We would help with the kids, and up to my sophomore year, I still stuck to soccer and track and marching band and jazz band. And my sophomore year, after that, I didn't really participate in any other clubs until my junior year. That's when my dear friend Julio Gonzalez, he actually told me about the debate team, and that's when I've entered the debate team. And it was actually the best move that I could actually make, because I believe that being in the debate team and actually go to tournaments, it prepared me to speak in front of huge crowds. So that's why I think I feel pretty confident for my speech on Friday, which is June 19th. So My junior year.
APTV interviewed Julio Gonzalez and the other, the debate team captain. We missed one,
Okay.
but they are fantastic. It's a great group of kids.
Okay. Oh, that day when you guys interviewed them, I think I wasn't there and I had to go somewhere, so that's why I wasn't with them that day.
Are you the third tri-team captain?
No, I wasn't a
Oh,
captain.
okay.
I was nominated to be captain, but I gave it to Lisa Miranda because she was already in the team before me, so it wouldn't really be right for me to just step up there. I didn't want to create confusion, or I didn't want to create any what's the word I'm looking for? Any yes, any conflict. I didn't want
Okay.
to create any conflict between them, so Lisa Miranda got to be captain, and Julio Gonzalez for him to be the team creator. He basically got everybody together. He went to people asking them if they want to join the debate. So he was the one to be captain. He didn't want to be captain our senior year, but he became captain.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And my senior year, that's when I actually tried out basketball. Well, I wasn't really great at it, but I actually tried it out.
Okay. And what would your message be for other students in school?
My message would be to do your best, work in your classes, listen to the teachers. Don't give out any attitude because everybody have a bad day. At the end of the day, if you're giving out an attitude, what you're gonna get back is another attitude from the teacher. So the best way to go about it is to respect the teacher, say what they're telling you to do, and nothing bad will happen. Do your homework, stay in school, come to school. That's the important thing. Do your homework again, and everything will be fine. Also, get involved in school.
And who would you say were some of your biggest influences in succeeding? I know you've mentioned your parents a couple times.
Yes, and one of my biggest influence was my coach, and he's actually my cousin too. My coach, my soccer coach, he actually taught me a lot of life lessons throughout playing sports.
Oh, wow. And what are your future plans, Carl?
My future plans is to go to Kane University for 4 years, have a degree in biology and business administration, and after that I will go further to medical school to become a general practitioner. And my plan is that to open my own clinic back in my country, and I could actually help them. And from the education that I've got from the United States, I could go back and help my people out.
Wow. Wow, Carl. If you could change anything about your education in the 4 years that you were at the Asbury Park High School, is there anything that you would change?
If I could change one thing is that I should have, not education wise, but I should have been more involved in community services with more clubs in the school. That would actually help the school spirit a lot.
Okay, great. Carl, is there anything else that you could tell us a little bit about yourself, or what anybody else helped you succeed?
Yes, there's a club in the school called the National Honor Society, and how they go about it is that they take the kids from their freshman all the way to senior year, and their GPA have to be a 3.0 all the way to a 4.0. So I was in the National Society Honor Society from my sophomore year all the way to my senior year, and what we did is a lot of community services. And talk about community services, at my church, my pastor Sonny Augustin, he's actually one of the biggest influences that I had from my from eighth grade all the way to senior year in high school. So what I did for my last 2 years, I went on about to go to the church because they have a soup kitchen every Wednesday that they do for the community service. So I go there and I help them out with the soup kitchen. Yes.
That's fantastic, Carl.
And I don't know if I should talk about a trip that we took with the
Sure.
school to Europe. Okay.
Are the Carl?
Absolutely. Please talk about
Yeah.
that.
Right.
They went to Paris and
Paris and England.
and
So,
London.
so I think you said before something about things you would do over. Can you say what was the highlight of your high school years?
Sure.
And you can maybe say that as the highlight.
Sure. Carl, what was the highlight of your high school years?
My highlight was to be able to go to England, London, and Paris. So how that happened is that the principal and other staff members, they went on and chose 6. At first, it was a lot of kids, but some of them got canceled out, and I was one of the chosen ones. So we went to Paris, but before we went to Paris, let me give the story how I got my visa.
Okay.
So what happened is that because I have a green card, I will have to go to their embassy and get a visa for each country.
Oh, okay.
And because of the help of one of the teachers, her name is Miss Harmonious, she actually helped me a lot with the visa process. She went on, she made phone calls, she called all the embassies, she checked out everything that we'll need for the interview for my visa. And I went to the embassies, I did everything they asked for, and I got my visa. Actually, the trip was April 1st, and I got my French visa March 31st.
Wow.
So it was actually a close call for me because I didn't really know if I was gonna be able to go. So I was really happy when I got my French visa. And when we went there, we actually spent at least 2 weeks or 1 week and a half from April 1st all the way to April 9th. And that was a great opportunity for me as a student growing up in Asbury Park and coming to Asbury Park High School, because I don't believe if I went to any other school I would have that opportunity to go overseas.
And what kind of things did you see on the trip?
On the trip, we saw a lot of monuments and we learned a lot about the people's culture, what they do, and we actually lived the busy life of being in Paris and London.